or Mike? Can you hear us? Okay, yes.
No, yes.
Now I can. Thank you.
There you go. Okay, Mr. Mestre, you do the honors. You
I do.
swear- Okay. You say tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? He does.
I do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
A written decision and resolution will be prepared and presented for review to the city council. The city council is authorized to affirm with conditions, or override the decisions by resolution. After the resolution is adopted, contact a member of the city clerk's office to obtain a copy of the final decision and resolution. Upon your receipt of the final decision and resolution, contact the building department to obtain your required building permit. Summary minutes or a copy of the audio file of the proceedings before the Planning and Zoning Board shall be prepared and submitted to the city council before its hearing. The Planning and Zoning Board recommendations for the following public hearing requests will be heard by the city council at a scheduled meeting of Tuesday, January 10th, 2023. Item number 3, rezoning properties from R1, one family district, to R33, multiple family district. Granting a special use permit to allow the expansion of the neighborhood business district overlay, and granting a variance permit to allow only residential uses where vertical mix of uses is required. Allow residential use on the ground floor where residential uses are only allowed above the ground level. Allow front setback of 3 feet fronting east 6th Avenue, 7.25 feet fronting east 26th Street, and 8 feet fronting east 27th Street, where 10 feet built to line are required. Allow a 10-foot interior side setback where 15 feet are required. Allow 26.2% pervious area where 30% pervious area is the minimum required. And allow 56 parking spaces where 63 parking spaces are required. Properties are located at 585 East 26th Street, 591 East 26th Street, 595 East 26th Street, folio number, excuse me, 04-3108-001-2570 and 04-3108-001-2580. Hialeah zoned R1, one family district. Applicant Alejandro J. Arias, Esquire, on behalf of Caribbean Cat Corp. and Jordani Properties LLC. The applicant has actually requested to table the item until January 11, 2023 at 6 p.m. at City Hall, 3rd floor, chambers.
Okay.
So you have to vote to table the-
Okay, can we get a
So motion to table?
motion to table?
Second the motion.
Motion, Mr. Casanova, second by Mr. Iglesias. Mr. Gamon,
Yes.
Mrs. Enriquez,
Yes.
Mr. D. Perez.
Yes.
Mr. Casanova,
Yes.
Mr. Ulloa,
Yes.
Mr. Iglesias.
Yes.
Item has been tabled to January 11, 2023 at 6 p.m.
Let me comment on something. We already saw this application and you approved this application, but when it was to the council, when it went to the council, it was denied. So they had to do several changes, and this application is similar but different to the other one. So they are coming before you on January 11th. And I won't be here at that meeting, but the recommendation that you have there stands is the one that will be read that day.
Thank you. Good evening. Let the record show that Mr. Jimenez has arrived and he is now present. May I, if it's out of curiosity, may I ask why it was denied by the council? What was the
No
reason?
reasons were given.
No reasons were given. Because we approved them.
Yes.
Okay. So they're coming back, they're crossing their Ts, dotting their Is, and wiping their tears and coming back, and good deal. Thank you.
Item number 4, variance permit to allow 15 parking spaces where 21 parking spaces are required. Property is located at 840 East 25th Street, Hialeah Zone C1, restricted retail commercial district. Applicant Cesar Mestre, Esquire.
Thank you. Mr. Mestre?
Good evening, Cesar Mestre with law offices at 8105 Northwest 155th Street, Miami Lakes, Florida.
Thank you, sir.
The property in this application is located on the south side of East 25th Street, east of Lejeune Road, and 2 blocks west of the Hialeah Metro Rail Tri-Rail Transfer Station. The site is improved with a 4,205 square feet building built in 1981 as a medical office with 16 parking spaces. In 2002, the property was remodeled and converted into a daycare, reducing the parking to 11 spaces and incorporating a playground. At this time, the applicant is before the city with a proposal to renovate the building for a proposed medical center, including 7 doctor's offices, a large waiting area with a capacity for 20, and rooms with a capacity for, a large waiting area with capacity for 27 patients, a laboratory, a wellness center, staff offices, and lounge. The proposal includes interior and exterior improvements, including the incorporation of access ramps, minor facades renovation, landscaping, a dumpster enclosure, and the removal of the existing playground in order to bring the parking back to the original configuration. To develop the property as proposed, a variance permit to allow 15 parking spaces where 21 are required is being requested. The applicant submitted a letter of intent explaining the business operation. The facility will have 2 doctors on a part-time basis at staggered times, 3 hours per doctor. Staff will include 1 front desk employee, 1 medical assistant, 1 phlebotomist, and 1 customer service representative. The business will have 3 12 passenger buses to transport the patients. 4 parking spaces will be assigned to staff, 2 parking spaces will be assigned to doctors, 2 parking spaces will be assigned to the transportation van, and 5 spaces will remain open for patients coming on their own transportation. In addition, the applicant states that staff and patients will be encouraged to use the Metro Rail Tri-Rail located 2 blocks east of the subject property. The applicant proposes to sign a declaration of restrictive covenants limiting the business operations as proffered in the letter of intent. In light of the above considerations, 15 spaces should be enough to support the proposed business, and the requested parking variance could be approved. The recommendation approval.
Thank you, Mrs. Storch. Mr. Mestre?
Yes, with me via Zoom is Tariq Hawatmith. You see him there. If you can allow him. He is the son of the main doctor that's going to be operating this office. Tariq has about 15 years of experience managing medical offices, and he'll be here to answer any questions that you may have. Have a small presentation. Yuselis, if we can put that up.
If you can just give me 1 second, Mr. Mestre?
Sure.
Would you mind just identifying yourself, name and address for the record, please? Tariq?
Yeah, my name is Tarek Awatme. Obviously, the address is 840 East 25th Street, Hialeah, Florida, 33013.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
Let us swear him in. if he's
You need to be sworn in. Can you please raise your right hand? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. If we can look at the next slide. This is just showing you the property. On the picture on the left side towards the middle, left of our property is the Navarro that's there on Lejeune Road and 25th Street. Next property, next slide. This is just showing you that it's commercial area. The pink behind our building is actually TOD, as are we. Next slide. This is the existing building as it is right now. As you can see, it was painted bright yellow and it has the daycare insignia all over it. Next slide. Some of the same as to the way it is presently right now. Next slide. Next one. This is what we're proposing that it's going to look like. Obviously, we're going to improve the property, add the landscaping, add the necessary enclosure for the dumpster, update it. And although this rendering was done, I believe there's going to be some architectural accents that are going to be added to it, and obviously the landscaping. The important thing here, we have some more slides of the same rendering showing it from different angles. Next one. Next one. That's it. Okay. Now, the important thing to remember here is that this property was developed back in 1981 as a medical office with the same amount of parking that we're requesting for now, which is what the property can accommodate. There is less parking right now because there was a playground put in there back in 2002. We're going to take that out and put back the parking that was there before. The medical office, it's kind of a large building and there's several spaces that are open, but basically it's going to be eventually 2 doctors. And as doctors' practices are nowadays, they're going to have this office, but they also have other offices. So they're not going to be here full time. There will be 2 doctors here. The way that the business model works is each doctor has patients waiting for them in the examining rooms, which there's 7 offices, but one of the offices is used at the doctor's actual office. They don't see patients there. So you have the other 6, which are going to be divided when both doctors are there, 3 patients and 3 patients, and they each see a patient for approximately 20 minutes. The niche of this medical practice is a little different than some of the other ones that we see in town, where they try to get the folks in and out as quickly as possible, as opposed to some other medical providers, which, you know, the people go and they spend all day there and it's a social event, but not these guys. These guys are, let's get you in, let's get you out. There will be 2 doctors, 1 phlebotomist. That's why there's a lab. They do the blood work right there, but that is basically the only thing that they do besides the examinations by the doctors. There's no x-ray machines, CT scans, MRIs, nothing like that. It's only support for the doctors. They also do telemedicine, which obviously the patients don't have to be in the office. And they also do electronic prescriptions to keep the folks from having to come in. They just simply electronically send them the prescriptions and they go get it at the pharmacy. There is no pharmacy here either, just so you know that. The parking will be assigned as we said. And also it's important to note that we're going to have the 3 available buses to transport the patients back and forth when it's needed, even though I don't think that it's going to be needed all the time. We're also going to, as Deborah said, ask our patients and ask our staff to use public transportation as much as they can. This area, as you guys know, is the transit-oriented district, which is being redeveloped to try to get more folks to use the public transportation, to be more walkable, to be a little more urban than what we're used to. This is a good fit for the area. This 25th Street is almost becoming or has been a medical corridor. Obviously, we have Hialeah Hospital, we have Leon Medical Center located to the west of this. So I think it would be a good fit for the area. Again, we're going back to what this was originally, and it worked well for 20-something years. So we know that it will work well at this time as well. I believe that's all I have. We ask you for a recommendation of approval. And if you have any questions, we'd be more than happy to answer them at this time.
Thank you. Any comments or questions from the board? Anyone in the audience have a comment or question? Mrs. Tariq, would you like to chime in real quick, or are you just gonna hang in there?
No, I mean, it's what Cesar had mentioned, and obviously, there's a need for it's a new aging in population, right? It's a 65 plus that's new with technology, that likes the efficiency, that doesn't want to be sitting in a lobby for, you know, an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. So that's the model. It's a business model for the working 65 plus aging in. So I mean, I think Cesar put it in a nutshell. So that's all I have to say. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. All right. Any comments or questions? What's the pleasure of the board?
Motion to approve. Second the motion.
Motion by Mr. Jimenez, second by Mr. Iglesias. Mr. Casanova,
Yes.
Mr. D. Perez,
Yes.
Mrs. Enriquez,
Yes.
Mr. Ulloa, Mr. Ramon,
Yes.
Mr. Iglesias,
Yes.
Mr. Jimenez.
Yes.
Item has been approved.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is that it for you, Mr. Mestre?
I have item number 6 as well, even though that
Oh,
one.
okay. Oh,
You listen.
I was gonna wish you Merry Christmas and all that, but I guess
We'll do it in a couple of minutes.
there you go. There you go. That's what I'm getting at.
So item number 5 is actually a tabled item from our November 16th, 2022 meeting. We will need to remove it from table.
Okay,
Motion to remove from table. Second the motion.
The motion was made by Mr. Casanova, second by Mr. Iglesias. Mr. Ulloa.
Yes.
Mr. Di Perez.
yes.
Mr. Ramon.
Yes.
Mr. Casanova.
Yes.
Mrs. Enriquez.
Yes.
Mr. Iglesias.
Yes.
Mr. Jimenez.
Yes.
Item has been removed from table.
Okay.
Item number 5, conditional use permit to allow a prescribed pediatric extended care PPEC with a maximum of 4 patients and 2 staff members. Property located at 1022 East 8th Avenue, Hialeah Zone C2, Liberal Retail Commercial District. Applicant Martha Alvarez.
Marta Alvarez? Name and address, nombre y dirección. Speak into the microphone, please.
Diary Carbonell, Martha Alvarez, 1022 East 8th Avenue, Hialeah, Florida, 33010.
Okay, we didn't get your name.
Diary Carbonell.
Thank you. Nombre y dirección.
Marta Álvarez, 1022 East, 8 Avenida Hialeah, 33010.
Okay, ella va a leerlo en inglés. ¿Necesita traducirlo en español o? Okay, so, good, thank you.
The property in this application is a 1,900 square feet bay within a 3,500, 109 square feet shopping plaza that was built in 1985. The property is considered non-conforming since the existing number of parking spaces does not conform to current requirements. It was approved with approximately 91 parking spaces, where 175 are required, now having 88 parking spaces after incorporating accessible parking spaces. The shopping plaza has uses with high parking demands, such as 2 restaurants, a daycare expanded into a school, an adult daycare, medical offices, and a coin laundry, among other uses. The parking is consistently full and medical transportation vans frequently circulate through the site, often stopping on the driveways to drop off patients. The applicant is before the city requesting a conditional use permit to allow a prescribed pediatric extended care PPEC facility in order to add this service to their existing outpatient rehabilitation center. The outpatient rehabilitation center has 8 staff members and serves 25 patients per day that come to their appointments on their own means of transportation. The PPEC will incorporate 2 more staff members and will include 4 beds to serve 4 patients per day on Monday through Fridays from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. The facility has 2 designated parking spaces for patients drop-off. The subject 1,900 square feet bay, as per current requirements, should have 10 parking spaces. However, as it was approved in 1985, the proportional share of parking is 5 parking spaces. Given that the existing rehabilitation center already has 8 staff members and services 25 patients per day, their parking allocation is already exceeded, even if the patients do not park in the shopping plaza. Adding a PPEC will intensify the use and increase the parking demand, stressing a shopping plaza that already has a 48% parking deficit. Accordingly, the conditional use permit shall be denied. The recommendation is denial.
Thank you. Any comments or questions? Okay, do you understand her recommendation? Correct? I think you should ask some questions.
Sí, ok, llevamos un tiempo trabajando ahí con lo que es el área, abarcamos esa área con esos niños que necesitan sus tratamientos. Nos llegan pacientes que realmente son un poquito más de más cuidado y es por eso que nos inclinamos a darle la ayuda de esa comunidad que nos rodea, nos están rodeando. Y creo que es un poco injusto que por los parqueos que no va a ser para nosotros una inconveniencia porque igual están entrando los padres, están entrando dejando su
Un segundito, por favor. Vamos a ver si podemos traducir lo que dijo usted. Would you like to take a shot at it?
I'll try my best.
Okay.
So she's basically saying that she doesn't find that fair because of the parking spaces. We do understand that there's not a lot of parking spaces. We will have 2 assigned parking spaces. I don't know if that helps, but basically what she's saying is that parents are gonna just drop off their kids and leave. So it's not like they're gonna be staying there parked throughout the whole day. So we just want to see how that would influence like the parking situation if they're not gonna really stay parked.
Okay. You want to say something?
This is the clinic, right? So the parents are just gonna drop off their kids and come back later. If they
Right.
go to the doctor.
Yes.
I've never done that in my life. I don't see any very many parents doing something like that.
It's
Just
a
dropping off.
PPEC. It's a PPEC.
It's a
So
what?
It's
What's-
a PPEC. It stands for prescribed pediatric extended care facility, meaning that they go get their nursing services, PT, OT, speech services,
Okay.
behavior, and parents. Usually the least they'll stay there is 6 hours a day.
Okay, I get you. Something else. I thought it was a medical clinic and they would come and just drop them off. And I was like, that's kind of strange to me. Another question, have you guys ever even thought about finding a new location? Because maybe it's time to grow. And when you grow, you got to move into a new location.
Yes, we did think about that. However, when we first came up with the idea of doing this, we came here and unfortunately we didn't get that written, but they did tell us that everything was fine and the green lights go ahead.
Yeah,
Like I said, unfortunately, we didn't get that in paper, so.
yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Well, let me explain. When they first came, they wanted to have 35 patients and 10 staff members. So I advised them that that was too optimistic, that there was no room for that maybe they should try with a smaller operation, and then if it's successful, they can move somewhere else. But I have to be objective and looking at the parking reality, and I pass through there every day, there's no parking.
Yeah, I passed through there too, and I see that there is a struggle with parking in that area there. I really suggest you guys find a new location. That'd be great for you guys because your business is obviously growing and that's great for you. And it's something positive. You can't look at it as a negative light. I understand it's an investment in money, but it's something that, you know, businesses have to do to grow. And I think that it'd be great for you guys to find a new location. As for myself, I can't vote yes on this, so I apologize to you.
Yeah, the issue is parking and especially on 8th Avenue, Lejeune Road. It's
Yo veo, no sé si es que mi trabajo, pero veo más importante en la comunidad que estamos, ayudar a estos niños que estar viendo los parqueos, que al final hay locales que se están vaciando y uno puede hasta, ok, si el problema es el parqueo, yo me arriesgo a rentar otro espacio, por tal de que esos niños que no están llegando, que necesitan la ayuda, que no se van limitados porque hay otros centros que tienen los parqueos ocupados. Entonces no veo, esos niños tienen que ir a otro centro mucho más lejos. Yo lo veo un poco en la parte más humanitaria y yo trabajo con niños, estamos ahí desde hace 3 años y hemos crecido, pero esos niños necesitan esa ayuda y yo no creo de verdad que sea el motivo por los parqueos, porque al final son los niños los que necesitan la ayuda, no veo la razón.
So she's basically arguing the fact that although we do understand about the parking situation, she's basically saying that she doesn't find it fair since, like I mentioned earlier, the parents are not going to be parked the whole day. It's just a matter of dropping off the patients and leaving. How because of this issue with the parking spaces, we're denying this case.
okay. One thing that's very important. Parking is at a premium in Hialeah. There's, you know, I would be willing to sway my vote if she can come up with a written contract from neighboring properties where they will guarantee her ample parking.
That doesn't exist. This is a shopping center on Lejeune Road. Even if they add a bay, they will need more parking. So for the number of parkings that are there, 91 parking spaces, 5 correspond to them. In the outpatient rehabilitation center that they have and will continue having, they already have 8 staff members. So they are using 3 parking spaces more than what they have
more than what they
allocated
have.
to. And now they are bringing 2 more, plus the parents, even if they don't stay, they have 2 designated spaces. So they park, they leave, they park, they leave, but there's still no room to make this more intense. So I know that is 2 different aspects, but here what we are looking is at zoning, and in zoning we look at the parking and we look at the impact on the city. We don't
understand.
look the other medical part.
I understand your role in the department. Are you able to give us the benefit of the doubt and at least get an opportunity to serve these children that really do need these services?
May I?
Sure, go ahead.
There's any way, there's a possibility.
Speak into the
us-
mic.
Is there any way that we can have a possibility of maybe giving them an idea of, instead of parents bringing in the kids, a bus service? Like the clinics, they can pick up the kids, bring them in and they don't stay there.
These
They
are
don't use the
kids
parking.
that are severely disabled, so they need special things. Maybe they have oxygen or a wheelchair or another type of.
That could all be
special thing.
accommodated within the transportation.
I mean, that's a thought that I can bring in
And
if it's something like that.
My
And
heart
you-
breaks. My heart breaks because
You know, when it comes to that, I'm just throwing
right.
something that is logic, if they can come up with a transportation system, as long as the right one, I think it's a fair chance maybe
Well,
for them to,
That's
to
why
be
I,
able to-
that's why I threw it
but it
out
has to
there.
be written, have to be the right way.
That's why I threw it out there. If there's any way that they can come up with a guaranteed parking, secured parking, or if they can guarantee that they are secured some more or accrued more parking, if you will. In other words, they got more parking, okay? See, if that will be possible, then I will be able to sway my vote. But for now, I mean, you can't take blood out of a stone. Yeah, we would love, yeah.
It's like trying to just square peg into a round.
I understand.
And we're looking at overall thing.
I understand. We could do the transportation. I don't know if you guys are familiar with PPEX, but they do have transportations that are accommodated for this type of patients.
As long as
And-
everything goes, I'm sorry, as long as everything goes to Miss Deborah and everything is the right way and you can accommodate transportation, but as it is right now, unless you guys change it, I mean, it's impossible.
But then again, we've had this same back and forth for over like 3 months where we came in with 10. She was like, set in stone, no. And we understand. Then we went ahead, we lowered it to 5. It was again a no. And then we lowered it to 2. And then, I mean, if nothing was going to change, if 2 wouldn't have made a difference, which is basically the least amount like of people with 2 patients. So why have us go for 3 months, wasting money, wasting time, resources, if it's gonna be a set in stone, no. So now that we're here willing to compromise and to, look for different ways, why can't we get the benefit of the doubt and at least be like, okay, you could try this.
Okay,
My
I'm gonna
duty,
ask
my
you-
duty is to look at the
Right.
numbers, and the numbers are that you have 5 parking spaces allocated with the proportion that is there, and you already have 8 staff members in the outpatient clinic, and you're adding 2 more, 8. So you're utilizing, without the kids or the patients, you're using 8 parking spaces where only 5 are designated for you, and 2 are already the drop-off spaces. So I don't see how you can have this. The only way of having the PPEC here is reducing everything and reducing the staff, 3 for one operation, 2 for the other operation, 5, and there the 5 the parking spaces that are located there. But I don't know if that is convenient for you because you will have to reduce your other business that you have there. So maybe you should keep that business there as it is and then look for another place and do the 10, 25, 35 or whatever you need, but somewhere else.
Through the chair.
Go ahead.
Deborah, how many spaces would they actually need? Like if they were assigned to
10.
10? So if there's a possibility that they could get the management to give them 10 spaces?
It's impossible. They have 2 restaurants, a daycare with a school, and most of the businesses there are medical businesses. And if you pass every day, you will see there's no one space. There are some spaces there in front of the restaurant that are illegal because they're on the right of way. And you see the vans for the transportation that are there, and many times they stop in the driveway and the patients get from the driveway to the place. So it's already full,
But if they-
super full, used at the maximum.
But if they
I-
rent another
yes.
unit and they
If
could get the
rent
parking
another
spaces
unit,
from
it's
the other?
Same problem because they will have more square footage and they will need more parking space.
But what I mean-
The shopping center needs 175 parking spaces and they have 88.
Right, so any
The
business.
shopping center itself?
Eh,
It's, yes.
Oh,
So
you're
any
talking about
actual
a
business
major
that-
deficit.
So any business that opens up, they're never gonna be able to satisfy the requirements. No
Exactly,
business.
but many businesses can open by right and they don't need a conditional use permit where you have to analyze everything.
So even if they open another business, they rent another space and they get assigned spaces, that's
The
not enough.
feedback always requires the
Right.
condition.
Right. So,
Well,
por el corazón, para mí, me encantaría
again,
ayudarle, pero la ley tiene ciertos requisitos, que es lo que ellos están tratando de decir.
no está por encima de la ley. Pero vamos a la lógica, porque todas las reglas tienen su excepción y no quiero que la mía sea una excepción, sino que vean un poco más allá de las necesidades del área donde estoy yo. Porque yo bien pudiera tener ese RIA en otro espacio, en otra ciudad, en el Sagüe o en otro área, pero quiero ahí, porque ahí fue donde yo creo que por años estamos cubriendo todo el área. Y veo que esos mismos niños que están entrando a la oficina, pero que yo necesito, porque sabe cómo funciona Medicaid, yo no lo puedo ver como un pipe, porque son niños que ya están entrando, pero están entrando como terapia. ¿Por qué? Por los parqueos, no entiendo. Cuando el daycare de adultos tenía 3 parqueos, tiene 2 parqueos, usan uno solo, los otros lo usan para ellos, para sus trabajadores. No es que sea solamente para el bus del daycare.
Porque hay personas que son expertos, abogados, arquitectos, etcétera, que hacen esto todos los días. Si usted tuviera una persona que la pueda guiar, puede entender mejor. Tendría que contratar a alguien que la guíe o si se va a otro lugar para que no cometa el mismo error.
No es el mero hecho. Yo no me quiero ir de ahí. De hecho, no me voy a ir porque definitivamente estoy atendiendo a mis niños en esa área. Pero ¿por qué el factor parqueo para atender a esos mismos niños con otro seguro? Pero ese seguro me está pidiendo el permiso de la ciudad, solamente zonificar. Es esos mismos niños que están recibiendo terapia. Pero
Para eso están los abogados y las personas que saben la ley y le pueden guiar. ¿Entiendes?
Por eso es lo que yo le dije, mi opinión, my opinion. Si usted puede, a través de un abogado, un oficial o algo, garantizar un contrato de que usted va a asegurar parqueos, ya sea en ese shopping center o ya sea en otro lugar, suficiente parqueo para que usted pueda llenar su cuota, ya sea los empleados parquean allá, los pacientes parquean al frente. Let me say it in English now. If you can somehow, like Mr. Jimenez says, through the aid of an attorney, through the aid of an expert, come up with a contract, a lease, some sort of agreement that you can secure X amount of parking next door, across the street, a block down the road, okay, that you can secure those parking spots, possibly for your staff, your employees, your nurses, your caregivers, what have you, they park there and then maybe they shuttle back and forth. And then that would open up the parking, the limited parking that you have, it would open it up for your patients. Is that okay? If you can do that, I'm sure that the board will see it your way.
Through the chair.
Okay, but until then, it's really up to the board. Go ahead.
Through the chair. Si ahora tomamos un voto, lo más probable se va a negar. Si usted quiere, se puede postergar esto para darle tiempo a buscar un abogado, hacer un plan y después podemos votar en otro momento y va a tener una mejor oportunidad si usted quiere hacer
En
eso.
estos momentos,
También
no está
another
en su
possibility
favor.
is that you vote and they go to because this board recommends to the city council, and the one that approves and disapproves is the council. So maybe they go with the recommendation and then you get to the city council and you explain your situation, and maybe they
might
can
override.
hear more the sensitive part and they don't care about the parking. But here, our duty here is to look at the numbers and the parking. So maybe you want there and you advance to the next step.
How can we go about that?
They vote, they recommend, even if they recommend denial, the council will listen to your application, will listen to you. So there you give your explanation and maybe they can open a window that we can.
Whatever the outcome is here tonight, yay or nay, okay? You need to come back to the council in what, a couple of weeks?
The council will be on
January 10th.
Okay. You need to come back to a hearing in front of the council. They have the authority and the power to override our recommendation, not our decision, our recommendation. So in the meantime, that may give you, whether you go out here on a postponement, a table, or an approval, or a denial, that will give you at least a few weeks, even though it's the holidays, will give you a few weeks to, like Mr. Jimenez says, check with an expert, check with, some legal advice or whatever, see what your options are. The council may vote your way, but right now, we're pretty much, our hands are tied pretty much.
The application that we heard before yours had a similar situation, but they came up with a plan. We're going only to have the 2 doctors. The doctors come at staggered times. 6, they explain where the doctors were going to park, where the patients were going to park, how many patients were going to be transported. So they will proffer and they will write that in a document. So that will be set in that way and is organized. But in this way, we know that you will have 10 staff members and you only have 5 parking spaces. So there's no way that we can say yes when we see that will not be enough.
We understand. Thank you.
Chair.
I think you,
Y ahí en la pantalla un abogado muy bueno. Right
Yeah.
there, el señor
The
de la
one on the
camisa
bottom,
blanca.
Mr. Mestre,
Señor Mestre,
he can,
excelente.
oh, he can work miracles. He can, if you,
El que está sonriendo.
If I only had a parking creation company, right?
there you go.
Por lo menos le puedo dar un consejo.
I'm gonna give you, Mr. Mestre, I'm gonna give you a little lamp that you can rub and parking spots come out.
Mestre.
Sí, César Mestre.
Yes, had we known this beforehand, we wouldn't have gone through this. I'm sorry? 3 years. Yeah. This is the first time, this is the first time we hear about the whole parking situation prior.
Enfrente, on East Court.
Nosotros la aceptamos y va a ser con alrededor de cuatro camas Y nosotros estábamos felices porque así íbamos a empezar. Yo le prometí a ella que cuando, es decir, porque el proceso de eso no es de un día para otro, es largo. Cuando ya yo tuviese el cupo de las 4 camas o no tengo que esperar a las 4 camas, buscaba un local mucho más grande, por supuesto, porque a lo mejor me encuentro algo que sea hasta mucho más amplio y que no tenga este problema, pero igual necesitaba la zonificación para poder empezar el proceso y llegar a las 4 camas. Es decir, que ahí me quedé. Es decir,
Ok.
yo puedo empezar con la aprobación de ustedes, empezar con esas 4 camas que no las voy a, es decir, el proceso es largo. Me voy preparando en buscar otro local porque no es por nada, pero nosotros tenemos la oficina súper súper linda, súper detallada para los niños, son niños especiales y me gusta que lo tengan todo bien, bien en orden y todo bien limpio, pero para este tipo de proceso necesito tiempo, es decir, con la aprobación de las 4 camas, yo podía empezar y buscar un área mucho más grande para poder atender a, y en el área, porque vamos a seguir trabajando con los niños de esa área. Ahí es donde están. Los niños
Well,
cuando...
I feel for you.
No, no.
I feel for you. At this moment, I'm going to ask you a question. Okay? And whatever the board decides to follow up on. Think about what just transpired here. Your doors are not closed. There are options that you need to, seek and you need to follow. Do you want to postpone this meeting, table it to another meeting? Or would you like us to go through with a recommendation, whatever the board decides? Considering that you still have to go to the council, and between now and the council meeting, I strongly suggest that you do seek some advice, maybe, some experts, so.
I recommend.
We're gonna take the recommendations.
Okay.
The postpone, yes.
Oh, okay. So you're requesting to postpone, give you an extra 2 or 3 weeks so that you can
Yes.
do a little bit more research and stuff? Okay.
Would it be to come back to this board or
It will-
for?
It will have to come back, you have to come back in front of
I
us.
think that it's better for you to advance to the city council, and then you can ask to table it at the city council. But here in this shopping center, you won't be able to do much. My suggestion is let them go to the council. When you arrive to the council, you should have your counsel, your attorney helping you. And if you're not prepared on January 10, you can call the city clerk and ask to postpone to January 24. But if not, you will be stuck here.
That
And-
differs from what, right? From the recommendation you just made to us, right?
Okay. We can give you 3 options. It is right now is recommended for denial. No. Okay, we can go with that. We can, depending on how many board members say yes, how many say no. It's an election, it's a vote, okay? Whatever, if you get so many yes and so many no's or vice versa, it's a decision. The final decision is what I just told you. Put it on hold, postpone it until another meeting, but you'll be coming back in front of us. The city planner suggested, let's go through with tonight's meeting, whether it's a yes or a no for you. By the time you get to the city council, which they can and they have overridden our recommendation, you would have your attorney, you will have your research done, and you can present a more valuable argument in front of the council. So. And they can't, right now, if we say no, and you go to them, they can say, well, because I mean, we all feel, believe me, we all feel, but our hands are tied. We cannot allow you to continue doing business without parking.
Yeah.
You can't.
Mhm.
Okay, and if we do that for you, then we're gonna have to do it for Juanito, then we're gonna have to do it for Estrellita, and you understand? It's clear cut. So many parking for so many square feet. Okay? Any comments or questions from the board that would like to add? Anyone in the audience that would like to make a comment or question? Okay, so.
So, we'll go with the,
So, okay, we'll go, no postponement, no tabling, just go through with the vote. Even though it may not be a good, positive vote for you, it most likely will be a negative because it's recommended to deny. But the good thing about it is you're moving the ball along. You're moving to the next step. And the next step, you have a little bit more punch.
okay,
Okay?
sounds good.
All right.
Thank you.
Any more comments or questions? Anyone in the audience? Anyone in the electronic audience? What's the part of the public hearing? What's the pleasure of the board?
Motion to deny.
Second
that motion.
Motion to deny by Mr. Ulloa and Mr. Jimenez, second by Mr. Casanova. Mr. D. Perez,
Yes.
Mr. Ramon,
Yes.
Mr. Iglesias,
Yes.
Mrs. Enriquez,
Yes.
Mr. Ulloa,
Yes.
Mr. Jimenez,
Yes.
Mr. Casanova.
Yes.
Item has been denied.
It is painful.
No,
It
we
is
understand.
regretful, but it is what it is.
Understand. Thank you.
I mean, you still do have options.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Miscellaneous items not requiring advertisement. Item number 6, final plat of H.H. Hialeah Estates.
This is a residential lot that was platted by Meets and Bounds. So since they're going to redevelop this property to build a home, what they are doing is replatting the property. There are no objections from any department, so the recommendation is approved.
Okay. Comments or questions? Anyone in the audience? One in the electronic audience? Pleasure of the board?
Motion to approve.
Second that motion.
Okay, yeah, motion by Mr. Jimenez, second by Mr. Iglesias and Mr. Casanova. Mr. Ramon,
Yes.
Mrs. Enriquez,
Yes.
Mr. D. Perez.
Yes.
Mr. Casanova,
Yes.
Mr. Ulloa, Mr. Jimenez,
Yes.
Mr. Iglesias.
Yes.
Item has been approved.
Thank you very much. Good night and Merry Christmas to all.
Hey, Merry Christmas to you, and see, Mr. Jimenez put a nice plug in there for you. Hey,
I need to be a magician, though.
well, no, that's why you stayed in the background. Quiet as a church mouse. Have a good one, Mr. Messi.
Everybody have happy holidays. Goodbye.
You do the
Happy
same.
holidays.
Bye.
Item number 7, old business. No old business. Item number 8, new business.
I understand that they're working with children and everything, but bottom line, she's running a business. If you're running a business and you're making money, and you need to accommodate your children and your patients, and the best way for her to expand her business is more school. I've said this several times. A lot of these business owners want to maximize profit by staying where they're at, not having to spend any money. And I understand a lot of people will come here and they'll cry, and you're gonna feel bad for them. But this lady is trying to make as much money as possible. The bottom line is a business. And that's what she's running. She's not doing this, if it was a volunteer case, and this was something that she's doing voluntarily, and it's a nonprofit, then I'm all for trying to find a measure of trying to help people. But this is not a nonprofit, this is a for-profit business. And I've seen these kind of businesses running, and they are trying to make the most of their money. Whether it's a daycare, whether it's anything, where they're gonna maximize as much room as they can and put in as many people as they can in a small space just to make as much money as they can. I don't wanna be the bad guy always saying no, but I look at it as very critical. I look at it as black and white. I understand she needs to make money, but she's made her money in this location. This location is giving her what she has for the past 3 years. Is grown that she's gotta go. With more parking and anything. I would love to give everybody them what they want. But like you said, if we do it for her, we're gonna do it for the next person, the next person, the next. We take care of our city. It's our city, it's our live here. We live here. Let's take care of our city and our people. A lot of these people that are putting these businesses here, I guarantee you she doesn't even live here.
Yeah.
Okay, 90% of the people that come here and they build a business here, they try to take advantage of the situation that Hialeah has been very lenient. And a lot of these people come here with their businesses and they want us to continue to be lenient with them. And we can't. We have to look out for our city. We have to look out for our city. And that's our number one, like Deborah said, the law is the law. That's the number one thing that we have to do. And she's made her money and she's making her money still. And she's got enough money to rent a new location. I did construction in my shop. You don't want to go through it. It is hard. And anything that you do is going to cost you money and you have to. So you don't do it. But it's gotta be by the book.
Yeah.
I wish we could be like
Well-
the old days, like everybody does. La cosa por. We're not in Cuba anymore. Here in the United States, we're in a city that we wanted to grow, we wanted to be better. We don't want to keep having shanty towns. This is like a shanty town. Everybody's gonna have their mobile homes in the backyard, people renting them out for Airbnb. It's a joke already. We gotta clean up our city and make it better than what it is already. That's what I'm at. I know I sound like a bad guy. I do it for the best of our city. I wish her and her kids the best. I really do. But the whole shopping center, how many? 100 already?
50%.
It's at 50%.
91 and they needed 175.
91 parking spots and they needed 175, and she's asking for 10 more.
Yeah. Well, that's,
Unless you put parking spots on the
more.
roof. I don't know.
that's why I suggested if you can secure with a contract, with a lease, if you can secure us some additional parking elsewhere.
She has to
And
find a
also
new
the
location.
one that is to blame is the owner of the shopping
Yeah.
center, because he wants all these medical businesses because are the ones
Yeah.
that pay. But if he has too many, he has two restaurants, so there's no place. The tenant mix that you have in a shopping center makes the parking better or worse. If everything you have is intensive, well, there's no room for more intensive.
When there is such a discrepancy in parking, I have absolutely no problem
And this is why
in
we
shutting
have
it
to
down.
Look at every time that we're gonna make an exception for people trying to make these parking spaces, oh, we need 20 less, we need 30 less. Let's think about in the future what's gonna happen, how the population will grow, how that shopping center that needs 20 parking spots now, in the future, we'll need 10 more because the population is growing. We're putting buildings, we're putting apartments, where little houses are, where there's be one family, now there's 4 or 5 families, in one lot. Okay, and that's what's happening.
In the future, have you driven down 49th Street lately?
And we-
My God,
and we're knocking
it's
down-
impossible.
And we're knocking down single-family homes and we're putting apartment buildings where, like I said, one lot, there was one family. And now in that same size lot, there's 4 to 6 families. Okay, with 10 to 12 cars, not 2 or 3 cars, 10 to 12 cars. We have to look at this in a different way. Maybe I'm too cut and dry, but I don't know. I apologize if I got winded, because I always see things. And I know that you have a golden heart and you want to help everybody, but I guess I'm too cut and dry. I wish I had your heart, and I bless you for that.
Can I be completely honest and blunt with you?
We're on the record.
We're on the record. I know. Okay. My opinion. Sometimes we need a hard individual like you to come through and knock some sense into everybody. So that's my opinion. You take it as you take it as you wish. It's not meant to be derogatory. It's just, an eye opener, It's because if everybody was, I know I'm a softie. I know that. But if everybody was like me, right. So I do admit that sometimes we do need a hard, you know what, on the board. Well, I'm not, I'm on the record and I'm public. I'm not gonna say, what I'm mean to say, but you know what I'm saying.
Well, another new business. Today, David Joe advances one step and will be like the emeritus city attorney, and he won't come to the council meetings anymore, and he will give place to the younger generation. So it's Alex Magrizo that will sit here.
Whoa, no.
So this is a farewell for him, that he will still be there, but you will miss him in the meetings.
Motion to deny.
Second.
Oh, we got a second. Ooh, we got it.
He won't come to the meetings anymore, because he also will be a grandfather, so he needs that time.
Oh, congratulations. Well, congratulations again. So you're moving up in the world.
I think so. No, I'll be here for the January meetings.
Okay.
And Alex will be sitting here, and just in case, but I think, he's very bright, and I think he's working well with Deborah. I think it should be all right. Plus, you guys are amazing.
Awesome. Thank you.
So you're gonna be a 2 Tesla family now.
Like that.
Well, congratulations. I mean, I think you deserve it. And congrats, Grandpa.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Well,
It's great. Don't let them
Merry
kid you. It's great.
Christmas, Happy New Year.
Likewise.
Yeah, Merry
I
Christmas,
won't
Happy
be
New
here
Year.
the first meeting of the year, but I will join you again the second meeting.
Well, let's be politically correct. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Hanukkah,
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Kwanzaa,
Be
happy
safe.
holidays, and make sure that you put the festive tree.
And thank you, whoever brought the cakes, because I was
Yeah,
late.
That's a
Yeah,
guy.
thank you.
Thank Jessica.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Enjoy.
So,
Thank you.
if that's it, if anybody else has anything else to say,
I'll see you next year.
see you all next year. Have a good one.